Hey, what's going on? Thanks for stopping by and taking the time to watch this video. If you clicked, it's probably because you want to know, is the ZV-1 still worth purchasing in 2022? My answer, yes. If you're looking for a small, portable, pocketable camera that shoots amazing video and does a pretty good job with still images, then it is an excellent choice for that purpose. In this compact form factor, you're getting a ton of features. You're getting 4K 24 frames. You're getting 4K 30, 1080 120, so you can do that smooth, slow motion footage, standard stabilization, active stabilization, and an articulating flip screen, so you can see yourself when you're recording. Not only that, but within the screen you get touch focus and touch tracking. And one of my favorite things about the screen itself is that when you close the camera, if you face the screen in, it shuts the camera down. And the next time you open that screen up, it powers the camera up for you. That is a super important feature in a camera this size, because you want to be able to pull it out of your bag or out of your pocket or wherever you have it and start shooting immediately. And this feature allows you to do that. Image quality. This camera has outstanding image quality in video, and I think it's pretty good in stills as well. I've got some examples I want to show you on the screen so you can see for yourself. All the video footage has been shot in HLG3. That's my favorite picture profile for this camera. I think it has the most dynamic range, and I also think it color grades very easily, and I don't have to think too hard about how I'm going to expose the footage. Check it out. One of the complaints you've probably seen levied against the ZV-1 is it's just not wide enough, and I do agree with that sentiment. It's a 24-70 full frame equivalent, but once you shoot 4K and then you add an active stabilization, it becomes closer to 28 to 30 millimeters, which is really hard for any kind of self-filming, especially if you're trying to hand hold. There are some fixes for that problem. A lot of people like to put lens adapters on. Some people are using longer tripods. You could use a gimbal for the stabilization. Me personally, I just prefer to go ahead and lock it off on a tripod and sit down to shoot. I have found though, if you turn off active stabilization and you just shoot standard stabilization, you can hand hold and get a pretty decent frame. Here's an example of that. I took the camera with me to make a little Starbucks run, and I decided to film a sample vlog from the truck. All right, so we'll do like a little vehicle vlog documentary test. Here's what we're doing. Just so you can see it, I am in 1080p at 24 frames per second. I have product showcase on because I thought, well, what better time to try it than to show you that, hey, I just went out and grabbed some Starbucks for the night and getting ready to head back in. And so you can kind of see how the product showcase works. It can be a pretty valuable little tool, I'm starting to find, and it was one of those things I didn't think I would use it. Anyways, this is what it would look like if you were shooting from a truck at arm's length. And again, I'm in 1080, 24 frames per second to record this clip. One of the things that's phenomenal on the ZV-1 is the autofocus. It reminds me of my A7C. I wish I still had that camera sometimes, and this is one of those times because you can see yourself filming, but also the eye autofocus is just super sticky. I'm looking at the screen over here on the right side right now, and I can see the box around my eye. It has eye tracking in video, which I think is just super awesome, and it follows me through the frame. If I move, even if I go all the way off to the side, it sticks with me. And so I think in that regard, the autofocus is amazing. The other thing that you get is the touch tracking. So that's where you can touch an object on the screen. I use this on my dog the other day when I was filming her. You can touch an object on the screen and the camera will track. And she even left frame a couple times and it held on to her when she came back in frame. So I think the autofocus is absolutely phenomenal. One of the features that I found pretty useful, and honestly I didn't think I would, this was a surprise to me, honestly, as I saw it in the reviews, I just thought it was probably some sort of gimmick, is the product showcase mode. So I thought we would just test out product showcase mode in a real world kind of application right here. So there are a few shortcomings of the ZV-1, and I'm going to show you some things I've done to address at least a couple of those shortcomings. One is obviously the battery life. The battery life is not great, but the small form factor of the camera warrants a smaller battery being put in the camera itself. So one thing that I've done is I have purchased the Sony travel charger. This allows me to charge my batteries externally versus having to charge them in the camera, which means I don't have to wait to use my camera because it's currently charging my batteries. Now if I can get this battery out, I'll show you. It's the MP-BX1 type battery. And this little travel charger that I just showed you on the camera, it does come with a spare battery, so that's nice for about 50 bucks. So it's not much more than the battery itself. And I went ahead and bought an additional battery, so I have 3 batteries plus the travel charger. The other big issue that a lot of people have with the camera, and I've kind of found a workaround for it, is the fact that it has micro USB. I don't understand that decision by Sony, but luckily Amazon's got our back on this one. So this is a micro USB to USB-C charging cable. And so what this allows you to do is basically, if you're like me, I've got a MacBook, so I've got my charger all the time with me, and I've got my iPhone 13 Pro, so I always have a USB-C wall brick for it. And so now I can plug the micro USB into this cable into the camera, and I have the USB-C end to plug into my wall plate. The other cool thing that it does do is it does work for USB live streaming when you plug it directly into your Mac. So is the ZV worth buying in 2022? Absolutely, I think it is for a lot of people. I think if you're looking again for a portable, pocketable video camera, whether you already own Sony full frame or APS-C and you just want something smaller that you don't mind taking with you anywhere and everywhere, or if you don't have a camera at all and you just want something to capture good video to kind of document life, I think it's a perfect camera for a lot of people. And the still images coming out of it are very usable, especially if you're going to social media with them. They're going to be just fine. If Sony releases a second version of this camera, I think the main changes that I would like to see, I would love to see the focal length go to 16 to 35. Obviously, let's put USB-C instead of micro USB in it. And I think that's really all I would change about this camera. A lot of the other complaints that get levied against it are just because of its form factor. So you're not going to put a bigger battery in this camera. The quarter 20 mount's easily resolved with a small rig cage, or from another brand. I'll show you a little bit of that small rig cage right here in the video. But I think a lot of the shortcomings are overcome very easily. Make it wider, give us USB-C, and turn out the ZV-2, and I think you've got a really, really, really nice camera. All in all, I'm happy with the ZV-1. I'm going to get a lot of mileage out of this camera. It's made shooting fun again, and it's honestly inspired me to pick up my A7 III and do more with it too.
Alright y'all, thanks for taking the time to watch the video if you've made it this far. If it's helped you in your decision process on buying the ZV-1, please give it a thumbs up. No pressure to subscribe. Not really planning on trying to become a YouTuber. I just wanted to make this review to help somebody who may be in the same situation that I was and on the fence about buying the ZV-1 in 2022. Again, thank you so much for watching. One last little walk-in vlog test, and I'm in 1080p, 24 frames per second. It's super windy outside, so I apologize if the audio is a little bad. Anyways, thanks again, y'all.